All right. Whoa, it's loud. Hear me okay, Cedric? Right on. All right. So, Tanse kakiao kalidu nitasigo san maskego sagahi gan otiniya. Ego mikasua tik. Oki skin wahamagan na hewi win. Like Cree Nation, and I have ties to Red Pheasant Cree Nation, and I am a student of the Cree language. Before I get into this, I wanted to just thank everybody for their time and their presence here today. It's very meaningful and impactful, not to just myself, but to a lot of the members and the family members that I have here. It's been a very emotional journey for me. Lots has happened throughout these 18 months being part of the ImaGENation program, and I'm just really grateful today. So just wanted to share that. Get a little bit more into the introductions of myself. So on LinkedIn, I'm the founder, CEO, president of pîsîm Power. I'm actually just kidding. I'm none of those. I've thought long and hard about this, and I decided is my title. Instead, I go by head scout. So I'm the head scout of pîsîm Power, and I drew inspiration from this. A long time ago, our ancestors relied on scouts, people who looked ahead, observed the land, and guided the community towards new opportunities. In many ways, that's what I'm trying to do now, to look ahead, to reimagine what's possible for our people, and to reconnect who I am as a Nehiyaw through clean energy, language, and land-based learning. In addition to this, I'm a recent graduate of the Indian Teacher Education Program at the University of Saskatchewan, where I finished with distinction. Today, I'm proud to say I'm a full-time grade 3-4 teacher at Caroline Robbins Community School, the same school I once attended as a kid. It's truly a full circle moment coming back as an educator in the same place that first sparked my curiosity and imagination. Before I really get into the presentation, I just want to give a shout out to Sam and Aiden and Serena for their incredible presentations. It's an honor to share this space with other Indigenous innovators who are lighting the path forward. In the beginning, I pitched this idea that I had to the ImaGENation team using technology before AI existed, back when PowerPoint was our version of ChatGPT. No, but seriously, the name ImaGENation, it really stuck with me. I remember thinking, can you imagine making a difference for your community? For me, that's where it started, imagining something that didn't exist yet, a way to connect culture, language, and clean energy through the power of the sun. That imagination turned into action, and that's how pîsîm Power was born. pîsîm Power started as a dream, a mix of land-based education, solar innovation, and Cree values, something that would connect clean energy to culture, community, and classrooms. So here is one of the slides that I actually presented as part of my pitch to the ImaGENation team. Very low budget, but hey, I got my idea out there, and that was the point of that. So this is actually in Muskeg Lake. I know it's very bad quality, but that's okay. So this is our food forest in Muskeg Lake, and here is where I wanted to bring energy into this space to bring the power for the folks who work in the seasonal months tending to the land. Although I actually, during this 18 months, never got to directly work on site there, that story's not over, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. I have some plans that are in the works, and we'll circle back to that later. Here is our elementary school on reserve. So this is it's called Kihuwatistan, and this is our elementary school where I envision pîsîm Power finding a home. I imagine kids learning outside, free from the four walls that they're often enclosed in, and seeing firsthand how solar energy connects to the land and their own futures. That's what I wanted, a space where culture, science, and curiosity all meet. So this here is our powwow arbor, and this is actually where my idea took root. I remember sitting there, surrounded by the community, the drum going, and realizing this is power. Not just electrical, but cultural, spiritual, and collective power. That's what Peace and Power is about. Taking that feeling and translating it into something that we can use to empower our people. So I don't know if you guys seen, but there's Peace and Power's original idea was to be at the powwow, or in the back there. There you go. Lastly here, Lake Pitaquaqueo. So this is where my love for the land really began. It's where I first understood relationship to the water, to the animals, and to the stories that live out there. One day, I hope to plan and host summer land-based camps here that are powered by the sun and guided by our teachings. So my experiences since that day. So since that day, this project has grown in ways that I couldn't have imagined, from community builds to national conferences and even across all provinces. There were challenges, but also many moments of pride and laughter, and every challenge was definitely a teaching. So here I'd like to show a video. I couldn't insert my videos into the PowerPoint. It just wasn't working out. So hopefully, insert audio. Oh, we're waiting. I'm gonna blow my nose.
Driving the trailer into Muskeg for the first time. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited. I'm eager to showcase to my people like what I've been working on, and people getting exposed to the idea of what clean energy is all about is an exciting thing for me. Muskego Sagahigan is the translation of Muskeg Lake. Long history with Muskeg. There's been a lot of ups and downs with the community, but I like to think that my community is really a trailblazer in setting the example for other nations in where they can be. That relationship with the land, like understanding the cultural significance of the powwow event. I think that, having a clean source of energy and power really reflects the ceremony of powwow in itself. We're here in my homelands, Muskeg Lake, Cree Nation, and it's one of the 74 nations that are here in Saskatchewan. And this weekend is the weekend that we host our annual.
That's my bad. That's a little more technical difficulties here, but that's okay. The first video actually explains a little bit more as to where I began with it, and if we could just pull that up. It's only a minute long. This one, yeah. My bad. I should have realized that.
It's about creating opportunities for young people to see themselves as the innovators who will lead us to a more sustainable future. Tanse, Kaladu Nitasigo-san, Muskego Sagahigan o Tsinia. My name is Kaladu, and I'm from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation. Peace and Power is a solar-powered trailer project. Pîsîm is a Cree word for sun, and sun being a star that has always guided us and given us life, a source of power. And so I want to utilize that as a function in our modern day society to empower youth to get into the field of clean energy. It starts with my connection to the land, the care that I have for it. I often spent a lot of summers at a lake that we own as Muskeg Lake Cree Nation called Pitaquaqueo. And I spent a lot of time out there on the land. That's where that inspiration comes from, is I want that to be there for the next generation. This is just the beginning of a three-part journey to inspire change and to build a cleaner and brighter future. Peace and Power, clean energy inspired by Indigenous knowledge.
Longer hot, there it is. All right, so that's what I wanted to share in that first video was just a clip to my people, to the people that have been following along with my journey about what I was trying to do. I didn't necessarily physically have a project, so like as you see, like I was rolling out that like blueprint thing. That was just like I like create the idea of putting panels on top of a trailer to move around to utilize, right? Like I have an off-grid system now on top of a 14-foot enclosed trailer, but it's how I'm using it is what really matters in this project. So then came Toronto, my first ever appearance in Ontario. And this was a special weekend for me. You know, as a kid, I always dreamed of touching the Stanley Cup. And you know, and somehow through Indigenous clean energy, that dream came true. You know, I was able to touch the Stanley Cup in Toronto. It was, you know, as funny as it is, like this was an emotional moment for me. Like I never thought there'd be a day where I'd have that opportunity. And through this program, I was able to do something that I've always dreamt of doing. And so that was really important to me. Thank you. But even bigger than that, I shared my story about my language. That city reminded me that clean energy isn't just about solar. It's about healing, it's about identity, and it's about a connection. Number two.
Powering our powwows and the events that we have in the nation with a source of clean energy really reflects who we are as a people. And this is a great opportunity to showcase that as a project that is out there physically doing the work.
Trailer is essentially a big portable power station on wheels. There's a big ball in the sky that's feeding energy to everyone, so why not utilize it? So we got solar panels on the top. Those are feeding our batteries down below. From the batteries, we go into our inverter, and our inverter is what inverts our DC power into AC, and that's what your everyday appliances utilize. So if the sun's shining, it's going to keep charging itself. Could, if there's enough sunlight, run indefinitely. Definitely a big advantage to having a big system like that wherever you go.
So with the sun drawing power into the solar panels, bringing it into the battery system on the inside, gives me about 4,000 watts, give or take, so I could possibly power a band with this system.
Absolutely. Wouldn't be an issue for you at all.
Tough way. It's been great working with Pioneer Solar Renewable. The interest that they had in my project, that's what kind of really inspired me to work with them. Dylan is a seasonal tenant at Lake Pitaquaquio, which I have never actually really truly met somebody outside of Muskeg that goes to my lake. And so it was kind of, you know, meant to be. Stars aligned, let's say.
I know 14 years ago, I asked myself 3 questions. What do you love? What does the world need? And how do you get paid to do that? Projects like this just fall perfectly in line with that. You know, you get to advocate for sustainability, you get to educate the youth, and in return, you get a pretty awesome legacy when your time's up. This trailer is going to educate a lot of kids, and it's going to really shape, I think, the new generations and how they look at renewable energy. It was really exciting because that aligns quite heavily with my purpose in life.
I've only come to discover the opportunities that clean energy has most recently, and there's so much to learn, and that's like one of the most exciting parts is that I'm only just beginning, and Indigenous Clean Energy and the organization is helping me in that way forward in uplifting and empowering, and I feel like my voice is heard within the organization, and that's a real powerful thing when you feel like you're heard. There's often a representation of Indigenous ways of knowing that isn't held in the same regard as science and Western ways of thinking. To connect those and to be able to braid those, it needs to be done by our people. I want to be that representation and that inspiration for youth to see people in these fields and to take up the spaces that we inherently deserve to take up.
So Misaskotomanak, the place of many berries. That's my hometown. That's where I was born and raised. Where this story kind of all began. It's where I started building on this idea with family and friends, and where I learned that you can't move a trailer without a truck. Um, I don't own a truck. While I was doing this program, I've been a college student, and so I'm sure some of you know the struggles of being a student. And luckily, I had a lot of good friends and family that had trucks, and so I was actually able to haul this truck around with about 5 or 6 different trucks that friends and family helped support me with, which was honestly, it was inconvenient, but I'm really grateful that I had those friends and family. And, you know, that's important. That just goes to show like what community means when you're doing a project. It's bringing everybody in. As well, I had a lot of folks that supported me in the design of the interior of the truck, or the trailer, sorry. And I just had some buddies that, you know, thought of some different ideas and ways. And it's multi-purposeful is kind of the idea that we had at the end of the day was to be able to use this thing in more than one way. So we outfitted it where you could have a kind of like a small pop-up shop on the inside. You can walk through the trailer and you get to experience just a couple of different things that are located on the inside. This isn't a completely finished shot, but up here we have like a portable charging station. And then on the outside here was our TV that we had. And on that TV, you were able to see kind of how much watts of power we were drawing and utilizing. So that was a good point of contact for people who were interested in actually like what was going on with the project itself. And then as well, throughout this project, I was able to share some words with the youth. I was invited to a conference alongside a good friend and a mentor, Aubrey, and this was really impactful for me because not only was I able to share about my project to youth in the Saskatoon area, but I was able to like really reflect on what I was doing with this project. And, you know, some of the questions that I was asked by the youth were like really important, and like it just really made me realize like how important it is for programs like this to have Indigenous youth come take up some space. So thank you all for that. We already watched a minute of it. Let's watch another minute of it.
Driving the trailer into Muskeg for the first time. Annual Veterans Powwow. As somebody who's been coming to this powwow now as a kid, it's just a little bit different now. You know, there's a little bit more importance to me, and so I always ensure that I'm here on this weekend and I get to create some memories with my people. There's a handful of things that are being charged right now. In between the Treaty Day event and the powwow, we're going to have a little fiddle band that's going to get powered, and it's exciting to see, right? And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Supporting community-focused organizations and educating our youth, I see as very important in renewables and clean energy. Educating people is the best way to get to the goal of a cleaner future.
The source of energy and the power that we get can come from this big ball in the sky that we call the sun, pîsîm, right? And so this here is a great example of what that could look like. Hopefully in the future, everything is powered by solar.
A lot of the Indigenous communities, particularly in northern Canada, they're very remote. Right, so they're almost like they're cut off from main grid supply, losing power in their communities often. What we see is, you know, really helping the communities that need it the most. And that's where we really see us making the greatest impact that we can.
And some of the teachings that I've been gifted is that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and that's to listen more than we talk. I've always been good at having conversation, and especially with things that I'm very passionate about. And you know, the land is something that I'm very passionate about, and so as Indigenous people, we're the original stewards of these lands, and so it's important for me to uphold that. This is small scale. What could we do big scale? And so I think that this is a great place to start that conversation.
That was my superhero moment, they called it. Superhero shot. For real, for real. It's a thing. All right, just to talk a little bit more about the treaty day. It was an emotional day for me, again. To see this project in my homelands, among my family, youth, and leadership, had to be one of the greatest gifts that I received this year. It was more than just a trailer launch, it was a statement. It was saying that our nation can lead in clean energy, rooted in Cree values. This is a picture of my dad and a cookum of mine. I hadn't seen this lady in years and years and years. And I was probably a teenager maybe at the time she had seen me. And, you know, I wasn't in the greatest, I guess, path of life at that time. And for her to like see me like 10 years later doing this project, it was really impactful for not only me, but just to see her reaction to the work that I'm doing. It was pretty inspirational. Here we had a youth getting interacting with the MetaQuest 3 that I had purchased as part of the project. I had luckily met with one of Cedric's contacts there, a game that basically had youth build my project. And so it was pretty straightforward. There was some technical difficulties there, but you know, that's part of the learning within that happened. Next, it was sort of just by random chance. The people that shot the videos that I created for this project, they were doing their jobs, right? Just shooting videos. And they ended up connecting with somebody who was going to be hosting the International Tennis Federation's Saskatoon's Challenger, which was coming up fairly quickly. And they needed, or they were wanting me to come and set up my trailer at their event to power a pop-up shop, which can be seen here. So part of this event was basically just having Saskatoon people come through and watch tennis. There was a $40,000 prize for the winner of this singles tournament. So there's quite a few people here. It was really, really good exposure for my project, but also just like connecting with people, talking about it. And it wasn't just Indigenous folk. There was a lot of non-Indigenous folk here. But to see the interactions and the interest that people had in this project really kind of sparked my, I guess, my passion a little bit more as to like what I can do next. Here's just a photo of the printing in the presses that they were utilizing here. I didn't get a good photo, but around the corner they had a couple of food truck vendors, and I was powering the like cold storages for one of those vendors. And so part of the reason why they wanted me at this event as well was so that generators weren't running, so noise pollution. And that's something that I never really thought of before was noise pollution. The generator could be running really loud. And so generators weren't running at this event because of pîsîm power, which was pretty cool. I had some friends come visit. My good buddy and his daughter, Tipiskau, her name is. They come through, and you know, this for me was just a good moment to have, you know, to share with somebody. You know, like my branding was up on the fence at an international tournament, and it was just really cool to like feel that and like have that presence there, and just get shown some support and some love from some family. So right after this event, I kind of made the last minute decision to go and set up at the White Buffalo Youth Lodge back to school event. So they closed down like 3 blocks of our central neighborhood in our inner city. And they have like a huge back to school event, like where they hand out over 2,000 backpacks to inner city kids in the city. And so at this event, they have like jumpy castles, they have kids getting haircuts, they have these backpacks being handed out, they have a bunch of different events. And I just quickly had asked somebody, can I come set this up there? And they said, absolutely. And so it was great just to get into the community to once again share, connect, and talk about what I'm trying to do. Here, I was able to meet a couple of firefighters, and like I had said, connecting with people. One of the guys had been like, next summer, we're going to be hosting a outdoor, it's some sort of first responders event. And he got my contact, and hopefully next year I'll be set up at their first responders event that's going to be happening in Saskatoon. And then I had a family come through, and we just had a really good conversation about the project. And yeah, it was just kind of cool to see like the youth really interested in asking questions. It's always inspirational for me. Mikasua tick, so that's a red pheasant. This moment here was a very special one for me. My Cookum, as you can see in the middle there, she's getting old. Cookum's, I think, 92 or 91. And for me, the importance of showing her what I was doing, even though she didn't really understand what I was doing, was like detrimental to like me like completing this project. Is I wanted Cookum to see what I was doing, and so I brought the project there. I showed her it, and like she literally was doing this, smiling, like, and it was just a beautiful moment for my family to be able to be like, hey, like this is a possibility for not just you but other youth as well. So I got put to work, and being on the reserve, it's just a breath of fresh air sometimes, and reconnecting to the land, finding the value of like what it is I'm doing. This was just kind of like refilling my battery. I felt kind of depleted, and so showing Cookum this project, what I was trying to do, was really important to me. From here, I had a buddy kind of randomly be like, hey, would you be down to set up your trailers to have a pop-up shop at the Poundmaker Chuck Wagons? So here I was able to make that last minute decision, and we made our way to Poundmaker, and we set up at the Chuck Wagons, and it was actually a really cool event. I didn't think that I was going to be going to an event like this, but it just happened to work out that way, which was really awesome. So what's next? Language in the classroom. This is something that I had recently purchased as part of my project, was a custom license plate. So people are going to see pîsîm all across Saskatchewan. When I applied for it, it was kind of funny. They have like notes on the bottom as to like what the word it is you're putting on your license plate custom. And I told them pîsîm means sun, and then I said it's a Cree word, and then I said just like Saskatchewan is a Cree word. And I was accepted. I got it, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Community driven, just making sure that I'm continually working alongside my community. This year was an event that we hosted where we had leaders come around discussing things, and I brought forward my project to this meeting. There's tons of other ways that I did do networking, but like I didn't necessarily like talk about it specifically. I didn't get like data about it, but like just the conversations I had with community members one-on-one was like the way I got my project out there into the community. So connecting clean energy to curriculum. So my goal is to bring peace and power into schools to help students see how sunlight connects to spirit, science, and sustainability. Not only that, but next summer, I'm proud to announce that I'll be expanding peace and power into another venture, something called Solar Sips. Solar Sips is a solar-powered smoothie and drink pop-up designed to bring clean energy to life at community events, POWs, and schools. So my idea behind this was that I didn't necessarily see peace and power just providing strictly power, right? Like in a way that like physically, how can we provide clean energy? And I thought, well, at powwows, oftentimes the food and the things that we were getting there aren't that healthy. And so an alternative to this would be to power people with clean energy, so smoothies. And this is where I'm going to tie it back into the ideas that I had with Steve. And so Muskeg has a food forest, as I had mentioned before. And in that food forest, we harvest berries and we have vegetables. And so Steve's been collecting a lot of that for me, freezing it. And to start up Solar Sips next summer, I'm going to be using berries from my reserve, practicing some food sovereignty. And I'm very excited for what this is going to bring. But yeah, it's just another moment of reflection and gratitude to what's brought me here today. Exe Pitama, that's it for now. I'd like to congratulate my cohort. We made it here. And as Sam had mentioned before, this isn't the end, it's only the beginning. I'd like to thank the staff, mentors, and the community who supported us. And to all the kids watching in the classrooms online, remember that your ideas matter. We can change the world one spark at a time.